All right, let's do this. Welcome. If this is the first time you practice with me, make sure you do have 2 blocks or something similar. You can get 2 water bottles if you don't have blocks at home, or 2 big books. And I always suggest to have something like a blanket or a couch pillow, especially if you have sensitive knees. I think that's all we need for tonight's practice. And once you gather those things, come into hero pose, Virasana. Sit on the heels. You can slide a block between your heels. You can add 1 block or 2 blocks, hands on the flexibility of the top of the feet. You can sit on the heels. You can also sit on the block. And just rest the hands on top of the thighs or somewhere else that's not distracting for you. And start bringing your attention inward. Cast your gaze down onto the ground. And perhaps slowly close eyes if that's accessible to you. If you'd rather keep your eyes open, make sure that you focus on your gaze on one steady point. So your mind is not wandering around with your sight. Relax the shoulders, relax the neck. Feel there's a little bit opening across the collarbones when you release the shoulders. Just focus on the natural breathing pace, knowing that there's no absolute goal of this practice. If the top of your feet start getting numb, you can slide another block between the feet. So you can get more support. You can also extend the legs long just to release the tension for a little bit before it comes back. Option to stay here, option to move to alternate nostril breathing with me. To start, fist your right hand. Then release your right thumb and your right ring finger and right pinky into Vishnu Mudra. Then block your right nostril with your right thumb. Gently. Take a long inhale through the left nostril. Then close the left with your ring finger. After, brief pause and let everything out through the right. Inhale through the right. Block the right. Then release everything through the left nostril. That is 1 full cycle of Anulom Vilom. I'm going to do a couple more rounds on it together. Inhale to the left. And close the left. And release through the right nostril. Long, steady inhale through the right. And exhale to the left. Just as natural as when nothing is blocked. Inhale to the left. Exhale to the right. Inhale, breathe to the right. Exhale to the left. Continue on your own. If for whatever reason that alternate nostril breathing with hand on the nose does not work for you, you can release your right hand back to your right thigh or somewhere that's not distracting. And just imagine that there's a finger alternate blocking the nostril when you're breathing. It's just going to be as powerful. We don't have a goal of you have to be in this alternate nostril breathing. Instead, it's the process that matters more, that aligns more with the purpose of our practice. And after this round, finish 2 more rounds. Can be in any form that you like. And once you breathe out through the left nostril, invite your natural breath coming back into you. And start gather the hands in front of the heart and bow head toward the heart. When you're ready, slowly blink open the eyes. Keep the block there if you have one. Just extend one leg long and rock back and forth to release the tension from the top of the foot. You can switch it between the sides. You can also come into an early high plank if that works better for you. Once you're ready to come back into Virasana hero pose, come sit onto the heels or onto the block. And extend the arms forward. Feel your shoulder blades being dragged away from each other. And release the shoulders down so they're not spiking toward the ears. And just fist the hands and breathe like that for a couple of cycles of long breath. You can also add some roll around that fist. Focus on a steady point. So your energy all going to those wrists. instead of busy receiving information around you. Release the fist and add some shake of the hands before we move to the next. I actually don't have a name for this posture, but we'll get there. You can add any direction. And when you're ready, extend your left arm out. Flex your left hand. So pull your left fingers towards your face. And same as as last time, try to make sure your left shoulder release from the left ear. You can pull your left hand with the right hand and press the left ear, which is also known as wrist. Imagine that there's a wall in front of you and press the left hand into the wall firmly. You can actually bring yourself to a real wall if you feel like you can use it. Take one long inhale. And exhale, start slowly point your fingers toward the ground. And pull the left hand in with the right hand. So right now we are strengthening left wrist and stretching the back of the left hand. Totally opposite from what we just did. One deep inhale. And exhale, release everything down. You can add some shoulder rolls. You can also swing your left arm to both directions. And we'll do the other side. Extend your right hand forward. And imagine there's a wall in front of you to press onto. Release the right shoulder away from the right ear. Keep your chest open. Option to use your left hand to pull the right hand towards you. If you're still close to a wall, you can stay there and do the side with the support of a wall. Inhale, sending all the way to the right wrist. And exhale, start slowly release your right fingers toward the ground. And pull your right hand in with the left hand. And then on the next exhale, release both hands down. Roll your shoulders around. And add some arm circle with the right arm. And switch direction. You can step the left foot and right foot back into a high plank again to release some of the tension from the top of the feet. Take your time. You can also simply tuck your toes, bring the heels higher up and sit onto the heels. And when you arrived in hero pose again, inhale, raise up both arms, but keep the chest open. Feel both sides of the waist growing long. Deep inhale, use the hands to guide yourself, come stand up on the shins. Toes can be tucked or untucked, depending on the flexibility of the top of the feet. If you step the block, hugging the block through the heels. Keeping both knees hugging in toward the center. Deep inhale, raise up. Exhale, open the arms to the left side. Inhale, sit back down. Exhale, rise up. Open the arms to the right side. Inhale. Exhale, open the arms to the left side. Inhale. Exhale to the right. Flow with your own pace. When you're flowing, notice how much attention you're paying to the open of arms instead of the integrity of your foundation. Are you still paying attention to keep the heels hugging in, keep the knees hugging in? And next time when you open to the left side, bring the block with you. You can use the block that was in between the knees, the heels. You can also use the other blocks. You have two blocks. And bring the block to the left heel. Release the left hand onto the block and extend the right arm by the right ear. And press the pelvis forward. Puff the chest up. Half camel. Start with the tallest to height with the block, so you have room to adjust. Rise up and sit back to the heels. And open the arms to the right side. And same thing, bring the block to the right side by the right heel. Rest the right hand onto the block. Press the pelvis forward. Extend the left arm by the left ear. Keep hugging the legs in toward the center. And come sit down onto the heels. Release the blocks to the side. Extend to a high plank. If your wrists are sensitive, take your time to spread a blanket across the mat. And release your knees onto the ground. And come up onto a knee plank. Either way, on an exhale, press your tailbones up into our first down dog. If this is the first down dog of you today, take your time to bend through one leg and another. Also rock forward into a high plank, then rock back into a downward facing dog to make some flexibility behind the legs. Once you find stillness in your downward facing dog, bring the feet together. Lift up your left leg. Pull your left heel toward the left sit bone. Make sure your left knee is still pointing toward the ground. Inhale, reopen the left leg. Point the toes toward the ground. And exhale, draw the left knee into the chest. Keep pressing into the hands. Keep the chest open. Inhale, kick the left leg back. Exhale, pull the left heel toward the left sit bone. Keep hugging the left knee in. Inhale, open the left leg. Exhale, draw the left knee into the chest. Last time. Inhale, kick the left leg straight. Exhale, pull the left heel into the left sit bone. Imagine you're squeezing a tennis ball behind the left knee. Inhale, reopen the left leg. Lift up to the back of the left leg. Exhale, pull the left knee into the chest. And step the left foot lightly in between the hands this time. Release your right knee down onto the ground. If you haven't spread a blanket through the mat, take your time to do so. And rest your hands onto the blocks. If you don't have the blocks, you can rest the hands onto the top of the left thigh. Low lunge. Sink your pelvis toward the front and toward the ground. You can adjust your back knee so you can gain some opening on the right front hip. So with the New Year's coming, we're gonna try to differentiate purpose and goal tonight. Throughout practice. Whenever you're ready, raise up the arms into a classic low lunge. Might introduce a little bit back bend, but if it causes low back pain, you can adjust your back leg. Your hips are kind of more above your right knee, so your low back is not getting compressed. Bring the block to the left side. Deep inhale. If you don't have block, you can bring the left hand on the left hip, then side bend to the left side. Left hand can be on the left hip, can be on the block, can be on the ground. Inhale, imagine you're breathing all the way into the right hand. Keep hugging both thigh bones toward the midline. Imagine your right knee still at the front and you're squeezing into the block between your legs. One more deep inhale, elongate through the right arm. Just pull yourself back up. Hands onto the blocks or hands onto the left thigh. Inhale, open the chest. Next, exhale, pull the right heel into the right sit bone. Imagine there's a tennis ball behind the right knee. Inhale, release it down slowly without a sling. And exhale, squeeze the right foot in. You can pulse like that. Option to open the right arm to the back and grab the right foot with the right hand. There's no hierarchy when it comes to postures tonight. And as I was mentioned before, there's a difference between purpose and goal. Crossing that, like my teacher always says, crossing that marathon line is a goal, but running a marathon is a purpose. And with the New Year's coming, are you setting a goal? Are you setting a purpose? If you have your right arm bind with your right leg, slowly release it. Inhale, open the chest. And exhale, let's come into a classic half split. Straighten the left leg. Pull the left toes towards you. Press the back of left knee into the ground. Long inhale here. Now exhale, bend into the left leg again. And extend both arms forward. If you have a block, hold the block between the palms. Inhale, reaching long through the fingertips. Now exhale, bend your elbows into the 90 degrees. Inhale, reach the elbows up toward the sky, bring the block behind the head, rest the skull onto the block. Chest up, Squeeze the elbows in. Imagine there's another block between the elbows. Find some back bend. Keep hugging both thigh bones toward the midline. Long inhale. And exhale, carry both hands onto the ground. Release the blocks. You can use the blocks as a support. Tuck your back toes. And step the right foot to meet with the left and fold over the legs. Keep a lot of bend in those legs. Inhale, lengthen spine. Uttanasana. Exhale, fold over the legs. Rise all the way up. And exhale, hand to heart center. Inhale, arms up. Virasana. Exhale, bow forward into Uttanasana. Inhale, lengthen the spine. And exhale, step left and right into a high plank. Inhale. And exhale, knees up or down, hugging the elbows in. Bend to the elbows. You can release all the way down onto the belly. You can also halfway, then inhale, pull into baby cobra, or you can pull directly into a upward facing dog. And exhale, we'll all meet in downward facing dog. Find your peace, find your pause moment in downward facing dog. And start rushing into next chapter. And step the feet together. Lift up your right leg. Inhale, kick through the right leg. Strengthen through the back of the right leg. Lift it up. And exhale, pull the right heel towards the right sit bone. Inhale, re-extend the right leg. Make sure your right toe still point toward the ground. Exhale, draw the right knee into the chest. Press into the palms. Inhale, kick the right leg long. Press the left heel towards the ground. Now exhale, pull the right heel towards the right sit bone. Inhale, re-extend the right leg. Now exhale, draw the right knee into the chest. One more time like that. And next time when you squeeze your right knee into the chest, lightly step in between the hands and land your left knee down and hands on the blocks or onto the right thigh if you don't have blocks. Come into a low lunge. Adjust the left knee, the position of the left knee to your pelvis so you can have some opening in the left front hip. And travel with the block to the right side if you have one. If you don't have a block, you can bring the right hand onto the right hip and side bend to the right side. Keep hugging both thigh bones toward the midline. Don't worry too much about how your pose look like. Our practice tonight does not have a goal. It does have a purpose though. Inhale, breathe into the left arm. Imagine your left hand is flying far away from you. Left side body getting grow longer. Next, so come back to center. Hands on the blocks or hands onto the right thigh bone. And inhale, pull the left heel in. Next, so release it back towards the ground. And you can continue pulse like that. You can also extend your left arm back and grab the left heel into a bind. Even in that bind, make sure that both thigh bones are still hugging toward the midline. So when you set up a goal like running a marathon just to cross the line, there's so many ways of crossing it. You can take a bus, you can bike. And oftentimes we're so attached to that goal that we forgot that the whole purpose of setting that goal. When you're ready, slowly release the left leg. If you have the bind, inhale, pull the chest forward. Now exhale, straighten your right leg into a classic half split. Pull the right toes towards you. And inhale, bend back into the right leg. Extend your arms forward. Option to hold the block in between the palms. Now exhale, bend the elbows. Inhale, lift the elbows up toward the sky. You can rest your head onto the block and pop the chest up. Keep hugging both thigh bones toward the midline. And come back up, release the blocks. Tuck your back toes. And step your left foot to me with the right. Keep a lot of bend behind the legs first. Inhale, straighten the legs, lengthen through the spine. Exhale, fold over the legs. Rise all the way up. And hand through heart center. Savasana. And stay here for a moment. Shift the weight around the corners of the feet. Pull the kneecaps toward the pelvis. And pull the navel toward the spine. And we'll flow to Surya Namaskar B today. And if you have any other salute that you'd like to stick with, please go ahead. Otherwise, inhale, sit into a chair pose first. And just get a little bit familiar with Uttanasana, chair pose here first. And sink your pelvis down. And make sure that your knees are not passing over your big toes. If your arms by the ears is too much for you, you can also just set the blocks tallest height in front of you and just rest the hands onto the blocks. One more long inhale. Now exhale, come all the way up. Hands to the heart center. Then we'll start flow to Surya Namaskar B. Inhale, sit into chair. Exhale, fold over the legs. Inhale, lengthen through the spine. Exhale, step left and right. Knees up or down. Release your chest onto the ground. You can also stop halfway into Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale, pull the chest forward into baby cobra or upward facing dog. If you're an upward facing dog, make sure you still keep your chest open. Exhale. Push your tailbones up into Ardha Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog. Step your left foot to your left arm. Spin down your right foot. Step strong through the right foot. Bend to the left. Rise all the way up into Warrior One. Both hands down. Step your left foot back. Knees up or down, move to Vinyasa. Inhale. Urdhva Mukha Svanasana. Knowing that even though I'm not cueing other postures anymore, you still have that option. Step the right foot to the right thumb. Spin down your left heel. Bend to the right knees. Rise all the way up into Warrior One. Hands down. Step the right foot, move the left, high plank, move through the vinyasa. And pull into back bend of your choice. We'll all meet in downward facing dog for about 5 rounds of breath. If downward facing dog does not work for you, you can always come down into a child pose or table. If you decide to stay in downward facing dogs, rotate your bicep towards the front, press evenly through the fingertips, the corners of your palms, and imagine there's someone hooking their arms around your waist and pull yourself up. The bottom of the next exhale, step by step, a hop forward. Inhale, lengthen the spine. Exhale, fold over the legs. Inhale, sit into a chair with Uttanasana. Exhale, come all the way up and through heart center. We'll float one more round together. Inhale, sit into chair. Exhale, fold over. Inhale, lengthen the spine. Exhale, step right and left into a high plank. Move to vinyasa of your choice. And we'll meet in downward facing dog on an exhale. Step left foot to the left arm. Spin down your right heel. Rise up into a Warrior One. Hands down. Step the left foot back. Move to vinyasa of your choice. Remember, if this is too much on your wrist, either baby cobra or downward facing dog, you can always come sit on your heels and do a camel pose. Step the right foot to the right thumb, spin down the left heel, rise up, hands down, step the right foot back, five rounds of breath in this downward facing dog or other shape of your choice. In the bottom, next exhale, step by step, a hop forward. Inhale, lengthen the spine. Exhale, fold over the legs. Inhale, sit into Uttanasana, chair pose. Exhale, rise all the way up. Flow through one more round on your own, so you own your practice tonight. So you can control your pace, you can make space for your mind practice. Now be quiet. If you're still floating, take your time to arrive at the front of the mat. That's where we're all going to meet. And when we talk about purposes, it doesn't have always to be the big purposes. Like for tonight, our purpose is open the chest and elongate our side bodies. And for the next some flows, we're going to try to put the practice that we've been doing around that purpose together. Some shapes you might or may not arrive. But again, there's no goal for this practice. So no need to be too attached to those shapes if it doesn't work for you. Once you arrive at the front of the mat, standing strong through the legs and hold the block between the hands if you have one. We'll bend through the elbows and hugging the elbows towards each other. Bring the block behind the head and puff the chest up, hugging the elbows towards each other. Inhale, press the elbows toward the sky, and step the left foot toward the back, lightly into a high lunge with the block behind the head. If you don't have a block and if the bend the elbows too awkward for you, you can also interlace the hands behind you with the left pinky outside, then reach the hands toward the ground. It serves the same purpose of opening the chest. We'll do this only 3 times. Bend to the left knee, tap the left knee down onto the ground, then straighten the left knee. Then bend to the left, tap it down, then lift it up. Last time like that. Release both hands down onto the ground, left hand inside of the right foot, and raise up your right arm up. Hugging both thigh bones towards midline, twist to the right side. Inhale, reaching through the right fingertips. Exhale, roll around the spine. The ribs open. Place the right hand down. Step the right foot back. Release your knees down. Release your chest down. Bring the elbows underneath the shoulders. Come into a Sphinx pose. Still working in the Sphinx pose. Imagine that you're pulling your elbows towards your pelvis and keep the chest open. Press firmly through the top of the feet. And start pull that left heel towards the left sit bone. Option to stay there. Option to reach back with the left hand. You may or may not grab the left heel. Option to lift up your right elbow. If for whatever reason you do not like being on your belly, you can come down onto the back and slide the block underneath your sacrum for a supported bridge pose. Then release everything. Bring the hands by the chest. Move to table or high plank in downward facing dog. Step by step, a hop forward. Inhale, lengthen through the spine. Exhale, fold over the legs. Inhale, sit through the chair, Uttanasana. Squeeze the knees towards each other. Exhale, hand to heart center, Tadasana. We'll do the other side. Bring your blocks in between the hands. Extend the arms forward. Bend through the elbows, hugging the elbows towards each other. On an inhale, lift the elbows up toward the sky. Up the chest up. And lightly step your right foot to the back into a high lunge. If this step is too precarious for you, you can also release a block and come into a high lunge and bring the block up, then create this back bend after that. If you do not have a block and bending the elbows here does not make sense to you, you can also clasp the hands with the right fingertips outside and reach the hands toward the ground. Inhale, puff the chest up toward the sky. And exhale, bend to the right knee, tap the right knee down onto the ground. Inhale, straighten the right. Exhale, tap the right knee down. One more time like that. Next time when you're up, release the hands, release the block, release the right hand onto the ground, left hand up, twist to the left side. Inhale, reaching through the left hand. And exhale, revolve through the spine. Inhale, reach forward through the crown of the head. And exhale, roll the ribs open. Keep hugging the knees toward the center, hugging the thigh bones toward the center. One more long inhale. And exhale, release the left hand down, step the left foot back. And use whatever way to arrive onto the belly. And come into Sphinx pose. Pull the elbows towards you. Keep the chest open. Keep the collarbones being spreaded. Option to stay here. Option to pull the right heel towards the sit bone. Option to reach back with your right hand. Grab the right heel. Option to lift up your left elbow. Feel the left side body being elongated. Chest is still open. Then release everything. Stack your hands and rest your forehead on top of the hands briefly before we move to next the flow. And whenever you're ready, bring the hands by the chest. Move to table or high plank. We'll meet in downward facing dog. Step by step, or hop forward into the front. Inhale, lengthen through the spine. Exhale, fold over the legs. Inhale, sit into chair. Next, I'll come all the way up. So we'll add a little bit spices to those flows. Bring the feet together. And pull the left heel towards the left sit bone. You can grab the left heel if you can. You can grab it with both hands and then kick it out. Option to extend your right arm by the right ear. mount my left hand to the inside of my left foot works better for me, but you can try both. Then start slowly, kick the left knee to the back. Standing strong to the right foot. An option to lean your chest forward into dancer pose. Keep hugging the left knee toward the midline. Then start slowly come up. We're just passing by that back bend. Then step the left foot toward the back. Both arms by the ears. You can adjust the distance between the feet to create a steady, stable foundation first. Option to stay here. Option to bend to the left knee, tap the left knee toward the ground. You may or may not rest your left hand on the left heel. Create a side bend to the left side with also a little bit twist. So creating an elongating right side body with the chest opening. And cartwheel both hands down onto the ground. Left hand down, right hand up. And now breathe to the right fingertips. Exhale, roll the ribs open. Both hands down. Step the right foot back. Knees up or down. And release all the way down to your belly. You can do that on bow pose again. Come into Sphinx pose and pull one foot in. And if you like to give Dhanurasana bow pose a try, rest your chin down. Pull both heels toward the sit bones. Extend your arms toward the back. They may or may not touch. Even if they don't touch, you still can lift the chest up for a broken bow. And if you like to try a full bow, grab the toes first. Keep hugging the knees towards each other. You can even bring them together first because they're gonna open inevitably. And just like what we did with baby cobra pose or upper facing dog on the inhale. Lift the chest up, lift the knees up. Dhanurasana, bow pose. And use a stretch of the arms to open the chest. Press the heels into the sky. One more long inhale. And exhale, release everything down onto the ground. If you did the bow pose, which is a half back bend, rest your forehead onto the stacked hands. And also add some windshield wiper of the knee side to side. And once you're ready to come out, bring the hands by the chest. Meet in downward facing dog. Step by step, a hop forward. Inhale, lengthen through the spine. Exhale, fold over the legs. Inhale, sit into chair. Strengthen the back of the legs. And exhale, come all the way up. We'll do the other side. Bring the feet together. Standing strong to the left foot. And pull the right heel toward the right sit bone. You can grab the right ankle with one hand or both hands. Then kick the right knee up toward the back. If you hold it with only one hand, option to extend the left arm by the left ear. And kick the right knee toward the back. An option to lean your chest forward into a dancer pose. Whenever you're ready, step the right foot toward the back. Raise up your arms by the ears. Bend to the left knee. You can create that place of the fingers and open the chest toward the sky. You can also bend to the right knee. Rest your right hand onto the right heel. Then extend the left arm by the left ear. And cartwheel both hands down to the front of the mat. Right hand on the mat, left hand up. Inhale, reaching to the left hand. Exhale, roll your ribs open. Release the left hand down. Step the left foot toward the back. Knees up or down. We'll all come down onto our belly. So you can come into Sphinx pose again and stay there. You can also do that the other side. If last time you did only one leg. You can also do both pose. My last offering of tonight is Urdhva Dhanurasana, upward facing bow pose, which is also known as wheel pose. You choose one that you feel like you can, that serves your purpose, but not as your goal. So if you want to give wheel pose a try, come out of your posture first to see me demoing. So you roll onto your back like a pancake and bring the heels close to sit bones. At this point, your chest should be opening enough and your side body is elongated enough. And the back of your legs are strengthened enough for this wheel pose, which is really difficult and challenging. And once you're ready, pull the heels toward the sit bones and bring the hands behind the shoulders. And imagine there's still a block between the elbows for you to hugging in. And press the pelvis up toward the sky first. You can totally just stay here, just for a taste of wheel pose. You can also press into the palms and come up onto the crown of the head. Option to stay here. And continue hugging the knees toward each other, hugging the elbows toward each other. Then press up. And once you're up, press your chest toward the front, toward the hands. And press your navel up toward the sky. You can even come up onto the toes. And because we did so much elbow bending tonight, so you should be warmed up for that too. If you like to come down to your elbows for a wheel pose on the elbows. To come out, tuck the chin toward the chest first. Then release the crown of the head down first. Then release the pelvis down. I would not suggest coming into some full pose right away because that was such a deep back bending. So I will stay here for first. And I'll give you guys a minute to explore whatever option you decide to go with. If you decide to go with a deep back bending, we'll all meet in a supported bridge pose. Slide the block underneath the sacrum. And we all meet there. And of course, you can give all those options a try, or one option multiple times of try. Once you arrive to supported bridge pose, if one block is not enough for you, you can stack 2 blocks at lowest height, and then use your sacrum. So we're kind of transitioning into a less demanding back bend first before we move into a forward bend and close the practice, just to neutralize a little bit so we do not shock our body. And then you can adjust the height of the blocks accordingly based on how your spine feels. Just let things slow down again. From those back bending, your heart rate may jump up a lot. Knowing that we already served the purpose of tonight's practice, so there's no rush to any finish line, something. Whenever you're ready, slide away the block. Hugging the knees in gently first. Then step the feet down and move the hip slightly to the left side. Then drop your knees to the right side. Open the shoulders to the left side. Right hand on top of the left knee. Bring the right shoulder close to the ground. Supine twist. So let all of your effort sink in without any forcing. Slowly come back to center. Then shift the hips to the right side. Stack the knees. And release the knees to the left side. Open the right arm. Left hand on top of the right knee. Bring the left shoulder close to the ground. And if you like to, you can even bring it a couch pillow between the knees for more support, make this more restorative. Breathe into the right shoulder. Just let everything getting neutralized within you, even though you are in a twist. And start slowly bring your legs to the center. And hug the knees one more time. Grab the outer edge of the feet and pull the knees into the chest. Ananda Balasana, happy baby pose. And press the tailbones into the ground so we can elongate so we're not overstretching our low back, and also neutralize our spine. And if you're craving for some hamstring stretch tonight, you can try to open one leg straight and another. Just rock side to side. Whenever you're ready, stretch your limbs out. If you're ready to rest, stay where you are. If you have any other shapes that you like to include in your practice tonight, use this moment for so. And because it is winter, so I always suggest that to bring a blanket over the pelvis, so it's more grounding for your Savasana. Option to bring one block each underneath your hands, so you can get a little bit more wrist stretch. You can also bring a pillow underneath your head. If you have an eye pillow, you can also bring them across the eyes. And when we're ready to rest, Savasana. If you don't have anywhere to rush to after this practice, please feel free to stay where you are right now. And if you're ready to come out of your practice, start gently wiggle your toes, your fingertips. Sway your head side to side. And give yourself enough moments to bring yourself out of Savasana. And bend in one leg and another, roll onto one side. Practice this transition just as thoughtful as any other postures tonight. And eventually bring yourself to a comfortable seat with your palms still facing down, if that's possible. We'll sit a couple more rounds of long breath as part of our practice, and in fact might be the most important part of our practice tonight. Just let your efforts keep sinking into you. With the New Year's coming, maybe think about how you can make your New Year's resolution around purposes rather than goals. Goals are not always bad, but because we already have so many goals that's set by ourselves or by others around us, and we're not always clear about the purposes. If the resonate gesture for you, get the hands in front of the heart. Take one long, steady inhale. And exhale, let everything gently out. Another one, long inhale. And exhale, bow the head toward the heart. Thank you so much for practicing with me tonight. If I don't see you next week, I wish you a happy holiday. And whenever you're ready, slowly blink open the eyes.